ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on. We thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin. We here at Angry Me Production want to thank our sponsor, Mobile Notary Mindy. She's certified with the National Notary Association. She's also bonded and E&O insured. She offers a wide range of services including wills, powers of attorney, medical documents, healthcare proxies, living wills, certification of trust, assignment of personal property, HIPAA waivers, advanced healthcare directives, and 99 verification. You can find her on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Mobile Notary Mindy. You can also visit her webpage at texasmobilenotarymindy.com. That's TX, mobilenotarymindy.com. Thank you so much, and enjoy the show.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today on What the Hell, we got a special guest, Eli Bushmaster. We're hanging out in my brother-in-law's house, and we ended up having like big conversations and everything, and we ended up seeing that we had a lot of common. And for whatever reason, all you had to do is say, "Oh, I was in the military. I was too. Are we docking now? We're docking now."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's recently, about a year you got out, right?
Yeah, about a year.
Yeah,
In January.
I don't even say your name, Eli Bushmaster, which that last name is just a
Buckmaster.
Buckmaster. Even, God, I fucking hate him. Anyways, recently got out of the military. You're trying to head back to New Zealand, right? Are you
I already
trying to?
went.
Oh, okay.
So I went back March of this year for about 6 months, and then came back here.
Okay. Where are you going to stay? Are you going to go to stay in New Zealand, or are you going to stay here in the United States?
I plan on staying here in Texas.
Oh, thank God. It's the guns, right?
It's the guns.
It's the guns.
Yeah, they're not really big on them there.
Well, I had a friend of mine that said he was in the CIA, and he ran like an investigation unit in the CIA.
Yeah.
And after I did some investigation myself, I found out CIA sometimes does help. Not like I want to say local law enforcement, but for embassy and everything, they do some investigations. And he said like New Zealand was like heavy on the murders was like machetes.
Machetes, knives. It's all not supposed to be legal to have on you there, but
yeah,
everyone does.
Yeah, and it's one of the things I keep on pressing on people, especially for a person that's anti-2A.
Mm-hmm.
And they keep on. I was like, well, England got rid of their guns. They're trying to get rid of zombie knives now. It's like, and they look at me perplexed, like, what's a zombie knife? I'm like, it's a knife where the only thing that has on there is lettering.
Yeah, usually with a bright neon green handle, or
it's basically what here in the United States, if you're listening to this in other countries, is a convenience store knife. Yeah, it's flashy, it's easy to sell, it looks cool.
It's made in China.
It's oversold. And what's even worse is like China is even worse with their knives and everything, because like a butcher knife,
yeah,
if you work in a kitchen, it's chained.
That's amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. It's one of those things that let me make sure I have all my, I have to double check this because I keep on messing up. Okay, we're in the main. But it's just amazing. It's like for here in the United States, we have California, New York, and New Jersey, and everything's very hard on the guns and everything. And I was reading this article that because of that, the Jewish community started doing axe throwing for protection.
Really?
Yes. Let me see if I can find that article. It's pretty old article and everything.
Oh man, the Jewish community would be the one that would definitely want the self-defense stuff.
Yeah. There we go. And this was dated 2019 is when I found this.
It's still fairly recent.
Yeah. But Rabbi Sensei. That is just awesome. I love it though.
That's one hell of a title.
Yeah, Rabbi Sensei. We give you a snip, and if you do something horrible, we cut you. Really bad. But the thing that we were having the conversation with most of the time over at Kenny's house was the fact that what one is the difference between time frame of what you had to deal with when you're in the military, even though you were in the Marines and I was in the Air Force, which one's more plush than the other. As we have that conversation, you're like,
just a bit.
You didn't have to duct tape your bed? No, why would I have to? Oh, yeah, I remember. And then I explained what happened, and you're like, "God."
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I mean,
go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, nowadays everything's very anti-hazing, whereas the hazing would just be, normal training. If someone screws up, go out doing a long run.
Yeah.
And if you go with them, you can catch a hazing charge.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So the person that initiated the run has to run with you.
More or less. I mean, yes.
So it's a punishment.
But
It's one of those
even-
things. It is punishment for both.
Yeah. But I mean, even if you say run with someone or you have to fill some sandbags for incentive not to mess up again.
Yeah.
You have to go there and do it with them. Otherwise, there's a good chance you'll catch a hazing charge. And if someone sees you, you'll still probably catch a hazing charge.
That is, wow. That was one thing. There's like a lot of people, because talking with a lot of friends of mine and everything, we got hazed. I can't say hazed. It was physical correction. I mean, you do like, what was the max amount of push-ups that you could have done?
We didn't have a set maximum. It was just if anyone complains or if some random person driving down the road sees you with one brand new private PFC, whatever, or even a brand new Lance, they report it, you can get in trouble.
Really? Because from what someone was telling me, I think it was Richard High, Anger Cop.
Mm-hmm.
He was telling me, he's like, yeah, I can't even get him to. I have to. It's a max limit of 10 push-ups.
10.
But he was in the Army. He's a drill instructor in the Army.
Yeah, we didn't have set limits. It was just try to avoid going overboard with it.
Yeah, because Kenny once told me about a time where they were like, we're going to make it rain. And they kept on doing push-ups until the humidity got so bad it would start condensation on the roof.
Yeah, that would be a no-go.
But that's another thing that I wanted to talk. one of the main things I wanted to talk to you about, and not because of the difference between Marine or an Air Force. I mean, it's all once you get past like the basic training, your basic training is a lot more heavier than mine because they're actually teaching you how to be an infantryman at the same time,
more or less.
and that's for any kind of MOS in the Marine Corps because you're supposed to be a rifleman first,
And then
and
your
then
job, everything else is second.
Yeah. What was your transition getting out?
So rushed. So I had gotten fapped out, so I got sent to the Fleet Assistance Program in the 6 months leading up to me getting out, and I wound up going through TRS.
What's TRS?
The Transition Readiness Seminar.
Okay.
A final class that's required by Congress for every active duty service member to take before they get out.
Yeah, I had the same thing.
It was just rushed. I was hitting everything 5 days a week, more or less.
Okay.
And
well, a lot of people, when they get out, depending on how they get out, and I had one guy, he was a senior master sergeant at E8 in the Air Force. He literally started crying on me when I went to go visit my girlfriend because he was working in the logistics mail room, and I was like, "Hey, how's it going? I heard you're about to you polished off your 20 years and you're about to get out." I think he did 25. He's like, "I don't want to get out," and just started crying. I was like, "Why are you? What's wrong, buddy?" He's like, "I don't know what I'm gonna do." But if a person only does like, the difference between a person that does like 20 and plus, or I think about 10 years. Once they get out, they just don't know what to do.
Because it's been their whole identity, probably since they were 18 years old. But hell, even guys that are in 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. Like while I was working earlier, one of my buddies called me. He got out a little less than a week ago. He goes, how do you, like, did you ever get that feeling once you got out that you're just kind of lost? You've been 4 or 5 years doing the same thing over and over with other guys doing the exact same thing, and you just feel lost or kind of out of it once you get out. Because how do you deal with that? Well, you talk to other vets, even guys that got out 10, 15, 20 years ago, or guys that got out 2 days ago. You just talk to people that know what it was like being away from home, being in the military. Even if you aren't a combat vet or anything like that, just talk to people.
Yeah, it's more or less the camaraderie.
Yeah, camaraderie.
Yeah, being dyslexic sucks sometimes. Your words like bashes on you, but I can write stuff out perfectly good.
That's usually the opposite of how it goes, huh?
Yeah, but that's what a lot of people like have a real problem with. One, they have a problem with seeking help. I don't know if is it any kind of difference between now and when I got out, because a lot of people, whenever we had a problem and everything, they emphasize is like seek help, seek help, seek help, and well, that's what we got. But nowadays, I'm hearing like people that, and my understanding is mostly people like that was in the infantry, and it was the fear of getting your weapon taken away because you have a problem, you have like issues, and you're a little bit depressed.
Yeah, that could be kind of an issue, but a lot of my my commands, they were very big on we'd rather you talk to someone, get some help, rather than going batshit crazy out in the field and shooting someone or at a range or something.
Yeah, my thing is they would just take away my spatula and probably the knives. So
shoelaces, don't forget those.
Yeah, shoelaces. I had to work corrections, so yeah, that was all kinds. When you work corrections, and Person has to be put on suicide watch. We just strip them butt ass naked. They might get a blanket within 24 hours.
One of those super thin sheets that just tear as soon as you pull on it.
No,
No,
no, no. They it's not. I want to say it's more of a woobie, but
Mm.
they're stitched better to where it's not going to rip or anything. But
Mm.
it's basically a woobie.
Okay. See, I miss my Whoopie.
Everybody misses the woobie,
I went and bought one.
dude. How many? There's so many places now. You can just get a woobie jacket
Mm-hmm.
or
Oh,
a sweater.
it's a hoodie.
Hoodie, yeah,
Kind of like this thing, but
yeah.
same material and all that.
Hmm.
You can get them on a lot outside of a lot of bases. The military surplus stores,
Oh yeah, yeah.
they have them.
Yeah. There is some I forget where it was, but before, the whole woolly jacket became popular and everything, I knew a person that would make them. The style of like that, and I was like, "Oh, you got to start selling that." And then I started seeing them. I was like, I knew I was right. But that's another thing that is the difference in services. Because that was another thing that you're like beating your head. You're like, I should have joined the Air Force.
A little bit, yeah.
And it's the difference between, because, well, the Marine Corps is still part of the Department of the Navy. What a lot of people say, the men's department.
Oh yeah.
But what's the bigger difference is more or less just, budget. I mean,
Well, yeah, the Navy gets this massive budget, and then whatever they don't want, they kind of trickle down to us.
you want to hear some really strange things I had to do when I was for our budget. My first station, TDY station, was Kuwait,
Mhm.
Ali Salim, and that base was still going through the transition, even though it was since like 2000. No, 92.
Mhm.
Right after the invasion, the first invasion in Iraq. So that station, it's being more or less their budget adds in with the Kuwaiti government. The Kuwaiti government gives a portion to those bases for the U.S. military to build a base because it's more or less a staging area just in case that happens again to where they get attacked. Well, one of the my commanders, she was telling me, it's like, hey, do you got any ideas to spend $2 million? I'm like, wait a minute, what? She's like, for our area for services, we had to spend $2 million. I was like, I don't. Well, just like, well, find something out. I'm like,
Beer.
fine, I'll figure it out, ma'am. Well, I was doing some research and everything, and I had this thing. It was like a suggestion box and everything. I was like, hey, we want to implement a suggestion bot, and I told all the commanders and everything. I had to go see every commander because my commander didn't want to do it.
Of course.
And I was a A1C at the time, at E3,
Mhm.
doing all this. It's something where a sergeant should have done, and just because
Something where you'd be lucky to get past first sergeant or whatever.
no, it was more or less a punishment, and we'll get that after the show. But it was more or less a punishment. One, I wrecked one of the trucks, and she wanted to punish me somehow, so I had to go down to each commander. I was like, "Hey, so and so, what would you feel that would benefit your troops? Your guys?" And he's like, "Well, you think we could get a pool?" I'm like, "Well, we are the rec center," and the whole thing was just the pool. And I
Mhm.
was like, so I went to go do research, and it was a little bit over 2 million, but it carried over with all the stuff that we were going to have to do with it, for that location. But it was over about 2 million, and I told her that. I was like, uh here's all the information they want to pull. And she looked at the price and was like, okay, that would get rid of the budget. Yeah. So I had to do that. The second one was when I was in Bahrain, and this is after 9/11, during the whole Operation Enduring Freedom, and we had $10,000 to get rid of, and they were like, "What can we get for $10,000?" I was like, "Well, I'd just been off the base. I was going around and everything, and I've never heard of Cinnabon." And I had one. I was delicious. I was like, we could get a crap load of Cinnabon. You know how much $10,000 gets in Cinnabons?
A lot.
A lot. We had, God, we brokered a deal, and I think it was right around about 8,000 Cinnabons. Which, yeah, if you're at a base and it's huge, I mean, we had it was kind of it wasn't Navy. Well, there was a Navy base in Bahrain, but the base that we were at, it was mainly Air Force, but we shared it with the Marines and a couple of Army.
So you get hazard pay from that?
And we got hazard pay just being over there.
Fair enough.
Anytime that we were overseas, Bahrain's not a. Even when I was in Kuwait isn't considered a hazardous area, and we still get hazard pay.
That must have been nice.
It was. My checks were huge. It's really, well, tax free. I think as an A1C, I was pulling $2,000 in. Well, no, 1,200 every paycheck. So 2,400. That's hazard duty, tax free. I think BAH, because I was letting off base at the I didn't have BAH that time. The second time I went overseas, I did have BAH, and I ended up having like close to about 3,000 a month. But I was also E4.
I got out as an E4. I wasn't making near that much.
Yeah, well, well, that's also a different duty station too. When I was home, I was I was only pulling probably about 2,500 a month. But yeah, so I was living off base. I was collecting BAH.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, the people around here, this is when my dad, he kicks himself not moving off base sooner, because his BAH was like $1,000 a month in 1990.
Here?
Yes.
Okay, then. That's okay.
Yeah, it's really just the strangest thing of different areas, because went to Egypt, and oh yeah, I got like I think $45 a day per diem too. Forgot about that. My biggest per diem was Egypt, $75 a day.
That's not bad.
That was freaking phenomenal. But I ended up. That was one thing that I was surprised about myself, was when I got here. When I went to the Air Force, I wanted to move around. I didn't move around too big, because the basic training's down in Lackland Air Force Base, which is San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I moved to Dyess Air Force Base, which was in Abilene, Texas. So I ended up, luckily, because of the career field was very undermanned, I ended up going like TDY to go take people like in Germany, Italy, and Portugal. And I did a little time in England and Alaska.
England probably would have been nice.
It was all right.
Rainy, cold.
Yeah, I'm from Texas. I don't like that shit.
That's understandable.
Yeah. I mean, it was nice, and I think it was. I think my problem was it was in March, April timeframe,
Mm-hmm.
It was like cold, and then it got a little bit of hot, but it wasn't. It was still like 75 degrees, and we're using like real American digits here. We're not going that Celsius.
No, I still have to go on the conversion every time my fiance like texts like, "Oh yeah, it's like 20 Celsius here." What's that in American?
Yeah. How is marrying a person that's in like New Zealand? Because you were talking about when we were there. She's like when she came over here, she was like
She got
Texified.
Texified.
Texified, yeah.
Texified. Yeah. So when I first started dating her, when I was at the embassy in New Zealand, she swore up and down, "Oh yeah, I'll go, but I don't like Texas and the United States because of the."
Here's the biggest thing. I mean, I know she's in New Zealand and everything. What time of year did you bring her here?
So that would have been February.
Oh, you gotta bring her here in the fucking summer, you douchebag. That is the worst time to bring someone here, especially if you're the only people that you could do that to is probably from people like from Mexico or something like that, or someone else like near the equator. That's what New Zealand's kind of near the equator and everything.
It's closer to the South Pole, Antarctica, than it is to
Yeah.
anywhere else.
Yeah.
But I mean, she lived in Australia for
Oh, okay. Yeah.
half her life, so she got used to
Northern part or southern part?
Gold Coast, I think. I don't remember
Gold
exactly
Coast
where.
is north, so I don't know.
I'd
I
have
want
to
to make.
Yeah, I'd have to look at a map and
Let me see here.
let's see.
Let me type in Gold Coast.
I'm assuming north because she said, "Yeah, we had like rainforest and whatever here." So
I'm pretty sure it's
or Brisbane. Brisbane. There you go.
okay.
So it's right above.
It's middle.
Yeah,
So yeah.
but she said it was humid and hot all the time.
Yeah, it's pretty much Texas. Did she okay? Did she like that? That's even better question on that.
She didn't mind it.
Okay, then she's good to be here in Texas during the summertime.
Yeah, she's gonna be drier than she's used to.
Yeah.
But yeah, by the time she left, we got her a little fixed blade, some boots, and she was wearing Wranglers boots, a little knife, and every time we'd be like, "Yeah, you want to go shoot?" Yeah. I have this little Heritage 22 that she loved, just a little single action revolver. And she loved to sit out there and go,
Oh yeah. I have a friend of mine that has we were shooting 22 Magnums and
yeah, it's got the cylinder for it.
yeah. But
Hey, she shot every gun that I brought out at least once.
oh,
So,
okay.
there's that.
Long as you keep me away from her and it's like, no. Stop showing her the boozy shit. I can't afford that. And I'm still surprised you can too.
Yeah, well, like I said, that scar was a getting out of the military present to myself.
Yeah. That's one thing that, sometimes you gotta spend a little bit of, just not to make you feel good. I mean, because when you freaking hand over the cash, you're like, I was driving a little bit, yeah.
But it's worth it.
Yeah, it is worth it. The prestige of other people going, oh, that's so nice.
Oh wow, I haven't seen one of those at the range before. What is it?
Yeah, I had because I was talking to a friend of mine that he's just like me. He just buys like ridiculous stuff because he has a Barrett now.
50 cal?
Yes.
Okay.
Although have you seen the new I can't say. That's another thing is if you talk about guns and everything, don't say the price. You can't say a price from freaking YouTube. But
Yeah, 'cause it's advertising.
yeah, that's what it is. I had one of my and it wasn't anything guns and everything. It was because the guy was having hit one of his sponsors was a psychedelic company.
Mhm.
We'll just say it that way. And he said all this stuff and new requirements came on, and they I was
Oh.
it Dane was like, you can't have this because of XYZ. I was like, when did that happen? But anyways, no, I guess it's a new sniper rifle. I think it's Barrett M22. I think it's called. You can tell I don't search guns.
No, definitely not. It doesn't pop up first thing or anything.
Yeah. MK22. Yes, I'm of age. Yes, I'll accept the cookies. But yeah, that's the new sniper rifle for armed forces.
At least everyone but the Marines.
No, Marines get it too.
Really?
Marine snipers.
Well, yeah. I was thinking, yeah, we'll get it in like
Actually,
10 years.
No, it's because of the Marines they went with the Barrett MK22.
Interesting.
Something to do with the one that we're going with.
Mhm.
Didn't have the requirements for it. This one you can take those lugs on the bottom and you can change out the barrel to it does I think 3 rounds Lapua and 308 Winchester.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it has a variety of because from what the reason why they went with this is it's easier to carry 1 gun and 3 barrels than it is carry 3 guns all at the same time.
Yeah, you just have to carry the ammo for the rest of them, and
Yeah. But yeah. But so she liked it here.
Mhm.
What were you surprised or were you?
I was a little surprised. I thought there was going to be more of a issue, but no, she said she was fine with it. So
Was she surprised about how you do distance in Texas?
a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, the speed limits here because
Really?
they don't get much past like 70. I guess highways go up to like 100, 120 kilometers an hour.
That's what 50?
So, yeah, like 50 ish, 60 ish.
Yeah, I have to Google because we're.
I only lived there for a little over a year and a half. I should know this by heart, but
Oh, 75. So hey, yeah, that's about normal here. So it's about 75 miles an hour.
yeah, but we drove down from Oklahoma, and this was right after they had changed the speed limits
Oh yeah, they did
to
80.
80, 85 because we took a long way to skip the tolls, and at one point it was 85 miles an hour.
I'll never skip the tolls ever again.
Yeah. Well, I was an E3 on.
You were trying to save as much money.
Yeah.
Okay, my first trip up to South Dakota, my dad did that on the Garmin, and I was like, "Where are all the gas stations?" Because we're hitting like, I like to get gas every once I hit the quarter mark.
Mhm.
You know, you don't want to go
Yeah.
anywhere near anything else, and most of the time I get half.
Mhm.
If I get half a gas tank, I go pull in and I'll get gas.
Well, yeah. If something crazy happens, you want to have at least a bit of gas to get around.
And crazy is not seeing a gas station for 100 and it was close to 200 miles.
Yeah, that would
We
definitely
didn't
classify.
see any. We barely saw a town. And I'm like, why haven't we seen anything? Because usually when you're like, if you're on a highway,
Mhm.
you see a gas station every 20 not even 20 minutes, every 10 minutes.
At least.
Yeah. I mean, going up to Dallas, there's probably around about 100 gas stations between here and just Fort Worth.
Probably.
Yeah. But I was getting freaked out because I haven't seen anything in the last 20, 30 minutes. What's going on? I was like, well, I passed all the tolls. I was like, you what? He's like, yeah, I passed I made sure we can save money. We can get through all the polls. It's like, where's the gas stations at, Dad? Okay, that'll be my bad. My bad. I love my dad to death, but he gets it in mind sometimes to his helping out isn't really helping out. And I have to tell him, I was like, Dad, you know you're not helping out, right? Like,
What?
I think it's on your side.
What am I looking for?
A bullet hole. Yeah, it's that leg right there. Yeah, that's all him.
How?
Okay. The 44 Auto Mag.
Mm-hmm.
He had it in his mother's house since 85. All the grease and everything coagulates, hardens.
Makes it a pain in the ass to fix or to get cleaned up.
Yes, I eventually just ended up getting a sonic cleaner, which if you get the purple juice
Mm-hmm.
and put it in a sonic cleaner, after 5 minutes, all that grease is gone. You just got to make sure you re-oil everything really good.
Yeah.
Because it gets rid of all the grease. And some of the stuff that you had to put in like heavy grease. Well, I was cleaning it. I just got done cleaning it. I was getting all the pieces back together, and he came by, wanting to make sure. He's like, well, you got to make sure you get all the parts and everything to it and everything. He was just being him. Of course, he knows me better than anybody, so I am a fuck up. So, you know.
Say at this point, aren't we all?
Yeah. Well, I was piecing everything together, and I had these snap bullets.
Mm-hmm.
They're just plastics
just
with springs,
bullets or whatever.
Yeah, so I can do dry fire. It's a little bit easier on the pin, firing pin. Well, he gets in his head because he looks at it and everything and puts it in the gun. I was like, okay. Well, I'm cleaning this gun, so I'm not noticing anything over here. I'm like paying attention, making sure I get everything together. I was like, okay, X, Y, Z, got it all. Next thing I hear is the racking of it because he put the magazine into it.
Oh shit!
And he fired it again because he thought it was a snap round in it, and it shot. And I was sitting, trying to think on the table as it's sitting now. I was sitting. He was sitting there. And I was sitting here, so luckily it was away, and the floor was concrete, so it hit the. It wasn't in this apartment.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking like he'd have to have been sitting like just about like this.
Mm-hmm. He puts it up, mind you. And this is for everybody else that handles guns. Proper safety, proper safety, proper safety.
Go ahead and say one more time for the people that can't hear quite well.
Proper safety. Check your gun, even if someone hands you it, says, oh, it's free and clear. Go ahead and make that check. It might save you a toe or two. Anyways, her table leg. But he did that. He laid it on the table. Mind you, 20 years military service, 20 years working for the sheriff's department. Although he was only a jailer, so he didn't use guns that much. And when I first got my job working corrections and going into working at Helmet, that's the first time I started, building my arsenal, so to speak, or just, getting guns in general. And he goes up, he's like, I didn't know. I was like, did you put a magazine in there? Well, yeah. did you check and see if the magazine was loaded or if there was stuff in it or what? Why'd you put the magazine in there in the first place? Because I had it out for a reason, right? I'm like, you senile bastard.
That whole complacency and all that.
Yeah. I mean, even your dad was telling us is like you're shooting differently before you got in the military, and then you go into the military, and now did they do it to where it was better, or is it kind of in between?
A little in between. I was a decent shot before, still a pretty good shot regardless. Yeah, it's just the little small tweaks here and there that can either mess some people up or
Like what?
grip on say a pistol or a AR
Okay.
would be, some people like to do the thumb off to the side or whatever, but military it's high, tight, thumb all the way around.
The only time I do the thumb to the side,
It's range.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But even for just basically any shooting you do, it's high, firm grip. Yeah, some people just shoot better thumb off to the side.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a problem with like with the with AR style.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go with AR style because everybody can
AR platform,
AR
whatever.
platform. Yeah. That's Aerolite. But it's like the one I have now. I got a ambidextrous safety switch,
Yep.
and I'll put my I'll put my thumb on that as a rest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mine's not too tight. Of course, you tested it. It's a hair trigger, and I don't have
a little
to.
bit, yeah.
Even I think the standard is probably around about 7 pounds. So I can
Something like
understand that,
that.
like and you're using a standard grip anyways,
Yeah.
or standard trigger for those. So that's probably around about 7 pounds. So you're yanking the damn thing half the time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, makes it fun to try and follow up on everything.
yeah. And that's another thing is like a lot of my friends are like, I'm gonna get me something that's close to fully auto. I'm like, why?
So they can waste $200 in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, even most of my friends that were in like combat situations and everything, it's like never used full auto unless it was like on a belt fed or something like that.
And even then, it's not.
And it's usually attached to something.
Yeah, but even with the belt feds, it's not really full auto because you're only shooting 5-10 rounds.
Yeah, because you don't want to overheat the barrel and melt the barrel,
Run out of ammo and all that shit.
Yeah, I mean even anything that's up in the air, they have select buttons. Is like I was listening to a woman that she was an Apache helicopter. I guess it'd be pilot, but she mostly sat in the gunboat
Co-pilot or whatever.
Yeah, gun seat.
Mhm.
And they have like buttons to where it's 10, 20, dump.
See, with that though, is it really a machine gun once it hits, was it 30 millimeter or 20 millimeter?
It's still a machine gun.
Yeah.
Well, most of them.
It's more of a cannon. Like, you're shooting
well, I guess you can. Do. That's a good question. Because depending on the size of the round and everything, what would mostly they're 30 to.
So I know, like the A10 was 30.
Yeah, A10.
I think the Apache's
But it's considered
30.
a Gatling, but they call it it's still a Gatling gun, right? Yeah, it's still considered a gun. No, rotary cannon. Yeah. So I guess depending on the size, I guess that's 20 millimeter. So anything above. Yeah, but what? Why wouldn't a 50 cal be considered a cannon?
Uh, it's more of a small arm still, technically, I guess.
Well, it's anti-vehicle.
Yeah, but it's still I guess it's still mounted on a vehicle, on like a ground vehicle or on a tripod. It's still technically a small arms.
You can put one of those on a Prius. You can put one of those on a Prius.
Fuck the Prius. Put it on a Bug.
You've not seen it?
No, put it on a Volkswagen Bug. That would be better.
That's too German.
I
Have you ever seen that?
don't think I have.
Black Rifle Coffee did it.
Yeah. It seems like that would just push the whole car backwards, no matter how fast they were trying to drive.
Prius. No. Yeah, there you go. Hopefully. They get a free commercial.
2 of them.
Let me see here. Let me.
You gonna turn that towards you?
There we go. We'll mute that. It'll still sound here. Okay. There we go. I just had to. I had to mute that. So that's their Prius wrap. And there we go.
Gun's bigger than the car.
It wasn't because they had that. Because they bring that around to a lot of the open shops, grand openings. But yeah, it was one of those. Because they also had like what you call them, Gatling guns and a Tesla car, and the doors open, the Gatlings come out. But yeah, they only shot a couple of rounds through it, and you see it moving a little bit.
A little bit. The whole car is moving. Every bit of the car is just wiggling.
Yeah. But yeah, I've seen people do like crazy stuff like that for clout. You gotta get the clickbait out.
If you can afford it and make some money off of it, I guess.
I don't know. That's the general idea with stuff. I mean, you got to look at. I mean, there's a lot of like the. I guess I want to say the clickbait. I'm better than you type stuff, to where they go out and they'll get like a private jet and see how I'm living. What's really strange about most of those things, they're not flying on those jets.
What do you mean?
What they do is they rent them out. They don't fly them because it's cheaper to rent them out, and you just see them on the jet, and they're doing all their stuff and everything. A lot of influencers, they do that. They'll just rent it for like 20 minutes to get photos and everything. I mean, it's still the airplane people. They still get their money and everything.
Oh yeah.
But they stage everything. I mean, you can rent basically anything. I mean, if you wanted to rent a Lamborghini, it's $2,000 a day.
That's a lot cheaper than I'd have thought.
Oh yeah, it's a lot too. Let me see here. It the just the like if you want to be truthful about it and everything, going in when you're doing like influence stuff and everything, you
Hmm.
just want to do like a regular video. It's like, hey, I'm still broke, but I always wanted to drive around a Lamborghini. I saved up some money so I can rent one, and you can go on to I know Vegas.
That one don't surprise me.
No, it's uh,
So you can do damn near anything in Vegas.
well, it's entertainment capital of the world. Uh, not the gun range. Because we got a gun range down in Grapevine.
Hmm.
One of these days we got to get everybody together and we got to go down there. You can shoot like miniguns, anything.
That just tempts me.
They're renting stuff. Guy at work is like, hey, we got to do this. One of these Fridays we got to do. I was like, well, like at 12 o'clock they got like a happy hour. I'm like, one, you shouldn't have told me that. And two, it's not like a happy hour where you're drinking and everything because you have guns around you.
Yeah,
Alcohol and guns don't really mix.
especially not a minigun.
No, it actually mixes a lot of this stuff pretty damn well. Yeah. Uh Trying to drive fast cars, exotic racing. That's what it is. Oh, it's cheaper than I even said. $249.
That is starting though.
Yeah, starting from 200. You can get 40 up to 40% off. Group rates, off-road, one day road driving experience. Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, I would kind of do that.
Mm-hmm. And you got the supercars up in the top left.
Yeah. I'm not really into supercars just too much. Uh, yeah, let's check out that. Oh, it's, 5 laps for $400. Oh, it's different. Depending on. Ooh, okay, okay, I might do that. It's $90 per lap, so 5 laps, and it's probably like a mile a lap.
Probably, yeah.
So, and that's $549. I knew they had stuff like this. See, if I was gonna, if I, ooh, that's nice. McLaren GT4.
Mm-hmm.
They got time results and everything. Let's see here, supercars. I want to see the Shelby, 760 miles per hour. Yeah. See, it's not that. 20 laps is $837.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
See, if you're gonna drive a Ford, that's not the supercar I would drive from Ford. I would get a GT because that's more of a supercar.
Yeah. Well,
Evo. It does look cool though. You know what Evo is, right?
mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm just disappointed I didn't see a supercar Volkswagen Bug.
Uh, Doing that, you want to go for Porsche. That's technically Volkswagen's.
Yeah, but
They were the same company for a while.
yeah. So one of my drill instructors in boot camp, he
Oh
was talking
yeah.
cars and he dropped a Hellcat engine in a Volkswagen Bug, one of the older ones,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was interesting to see.
I bet. Yeah. That's one thing that you got. That's another thing that I'm always fascinated about is the fact of, okay, once we say, we're in the military, we have one big thing in common. We got royally fucked by the government.
Pretty much.
I mean, most women can't, give us that, edge like the military did, or the
Definitely
government
not.
does. But after that, we have like different categories of how we. I mean, even talking to people when I'm up at work,
Mm-hmm.
either it's corrections or military, and bond. After, I mean, it's a trauma bond, but
Yeah, it sounds better if you just call it the bond.
we'll call it trauma bond. But and then you get in like different categories and everything of, and most of the time, even when we're in a big disagreement, we'll still like back each other,
Mm-hmm.
which is really strange. This is like I have a guy up there that was in the army, and we are totally different. He's really bravado.
Mm.
I'm not timid. I don't like, talking all that much, even though I have a podcast, yes, and I talk a lot on there. I'm more comfortable in front of a camera than I'm with a lot of people. But
Fair.
it's, and then once we get like past a certain degree, we have like a good conversation and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, we'll get it to a little bit where we're a little bit aggressive, and if you're not in the loop on that, then you're like, oh my god, I can't believe they hate each other. They don't hate each other. They're
No.
probably spooning after this.
Yeah, they don't hate each other. They're best friends, and they will probably be at each other's weddings, and if
Yeah,
not, cuddling afterwards.
yeah, and it's a strange development, but but a lot of people just don't get that.
No.
And I think that's one thing that's one of the big problems in the world. I mean, we can literally beat at each other's throat, but have each other's back at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people just don't understand that. They're just confused.
Most people don't get to that point with anyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, like me personally, I can hang out with Marines and everything, but there will be a certain point to where y'all, you looked at me like baffling after I told you I like nicely argued with a officer.
Yeah, that's still a surprise.
Yeah. I mean, I had a guy at my work, he was a Marine, and he's the same way. He was like, how'd you do that? Easy. You tell them XYZ, and this is the stopping point. You don't go past the stopping point.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm the type of person, I don't like there was this whole thing, you have it more or less in Marines and Army. I don't know about Navy. Air Force doesn't have it. Where I know the shark attack, we didn't have that in the Air Force. Even when I was in starting out in '98, no shark attacks. And the other thing is we were told, I was like, if you're getting too complicated commands, either A, go with the higher rank and fuck off the other person, the lesser rank, unless it's like E9 tells you differently. And that was it. Either senior command,
Mm.
senior NCO command. If they told you, it's like, okay, I know what he said, but we're going to have to do it this way because it'll work. And that's really in any kind of military, because most of the time, especially if it's like the 01 to 03s, they're still not experienced. And I'll just say they're just not experienced.
They're learning.
They're learning. They're little babies. And even I've had dealings with butter bars and up to where I had to like, listen, sir, this is how we do stuff, and this is and I'm one of those people I like to explain stuff because it's complicated to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be complicated to other people the way I explain it. And I'll go, it's like, this is the reason why we do it, and this is the reason why. I've had so many horror stories of people that were 01 to 03. I had one guy, he was on aircraft carrier, and mind you, they're nuclear, and he was an engineer. And the lieutenant started messing with knobs on a nuclear aircraft carrier. He was like, I beat the shit out of that guy, and my command staff had to come get me. They had to come get him, and I had to stand in front of captain's mast, and I would literally tell him he was messing with knobs. And he's like, wait a minute, you're an engineer, aren't you? It's like, he was messing with those knobs? Yeah. All right. Now we know where to go to.
Oh, that just doesn't sound like it'd be a good time.
No. Especially on situations like that. Yeah, you can move it. It moves. Yeah, that's another thing about doing podcasts and everything. You got to learn how to manage the mic and manage your own voice and everything.
Yeah.
And yes, I am noticing that you have you're just I guess there's questions I'm not asking you, and you explain a little bit more. But if you ever want to do this again, you get more comfortable with it, and you just, unless you're like my my other co-host, who's very long-winded, 4.5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, he went on. He's like, all right, when I came out of that womb.
Oh, so he started at the very beginning. Yeah, I'm definitely not that.
Yeah, but once you get to like, and it's more like I wanted to do this one anyways because there's a lot of stuff like, getting in the podcast and everything. And yes, you getting it at the end, so you have to deal with it. But getting into doing podcasts and everything, you got to learn like the lingo and everything. Like I said, when we talk about guns, we have to do pricings.
Yeah,
even though there's sometimes you slip up, and I was like, oh, that's only blah blah blah. No, I'm not advertising that.
I shouldn't have to go.
I just know
cut it or something.
I just know how cheap it is, and yeah, that's the reason why on these things when I first talk to somebody, I was always have it record. I never have it live, unless I like know the person, like on a personal level, like our political advisor. He'll go up and he'll start talking. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say hell. That's not a bad word. You didn't say Nazis or the N word, so we're good. I don't have to. Oh, okay." But he's mild in talking. He has a long-winded way to do things and everything, but he goes like deep dives on political stuff. That's the reason why he's an advisor.
That makes sense.
I was like, there's certain things there's like the new CR, which was one of my other friends was like arguing about it. It's like, look what they're doing with the and CR. I don't know what the definition of the CR, and I'm not looking that one up. It's just the bill that they're coming out with for the new budget. The budget bill for the end of the year, which is 1,500 pages plus.
So more than anyone's going to read at any point in time.
No, people read it, and that's the reason why. And he's the type of person, he read the entire Obamacare stuff. And that's about 5,000 pages.
It's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot of legal jargon.
Well, he's a like him, political stuff is uh like the stuff for Super Tuesday
Hmm.
for the president elections and everything. That's his Super Bowl.
Okay.
He goes to all the rallies and everything. He does, he's very Republican. And I always have to I'm middle ground. If I look at something and the person is Democrat, I'm going to listen to him at least. And that's what a lot of people don't really do anymore. Because I have a friend of mine that's like heavy on the Democratic side for right now, for some ungodly reason. Now, there's some people on Democratic side that I listen to because they give an unbiased opinion, and they're saying this is wrong, and it's my people that are doing it, and I don't understand why.
It's always a good question.
Yeah, but it's also to the point where you have people that are saying stuff without doing research. I research on both sides, and that's what you have to do, because a lot of times you'll have people go up and they'll say something, and it was like, oh, it's bipartisan, and you're looking at the stuff and it's like, why is this bipartisan when it's just a bunch of pig fat, and it needs to be cut out.
Yeah. It's kind of like all the stuff where they have all this that's supposed to be a good thing, and they throw in that itty bitty whatever that they actually want.
Well, okay. The way bills are worked, and the pig fat in there is like, you want to build a road in front of your place that you live. You want to get it fixed up and everything like that. It's going to cost you, we'll just say $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's the starting of how much the bill is. You already did the research. You talk to contractors and everything. That road is going to cost you $10,000. This is what you're budgeting for. Now you have to get everybody in your congregation to agree on that. Well, you go over to Pete. Pete goes up and says, yeah, sure. I mean, I've been over to your house, man, and you need a good road. I think someone gave birth just by driving on your road and hitting those bumps, and the baby popped out. That's a horrible road. I totally agree with you. I've been on that road. We got to get it fixed. You got my vote.
Yeah.
Well, Susan over here, why do you need a new road? I don't understand why you need a new road. Is it really, really bad? Is it really that bad? Tom's over here. Yes, it's really that fucking bad. Fucking vote yes. Okay. Well, I see how you're getting that road built and everything. I have this lake or a river, and I want a bridge over it, just so I can commute a little bit faster.
So there's that extra added on bit.
Yeah, to get her vote, I need to get her that bridge. I'm like, sure, we'll get you this bridge and everything like that. We got our 10,000. I don't know what I push, but it doesn't. How much is this bridge gonna cost? I don't want anything fancy, but I've already done the research and everything. It's 25,000. Well, now that road that's $10,000 is now 35,000.
More than doubled the price on that $10,000 project.
Yeah. And it has to be a long bridge, just so it's a little bit, makes her hour-long drive 25 now. And her realm of thinking, it's a lot easier to get to work so I can do my job a little bit better. And you go around and you're asking, I think Congress is running about 500 people. I think.
Sounds right.
I believe it's 500. It might be less than that.
That general area. Then you have to go through and ask every single person. They all have their little things.
But some of them don't. Oh, okay, it's 535 members. Okay, in the House of Representatives, this is the starting point now.
Mm-hmm.
But full on to get it to the president's desk, it's 535 people. And some of those people just go, Bob needs that road. Okay. If they just go over the first page and it's like Bob needs a road, or Steve, or whatever I named the guy, he needs that road. Okay, what's the rest of this stuff and everything like that? Okay, I can agree on that. That's what bipartisan means. Everybody looks over the thing and goes, okay, or they just go up and like, Bob needs a road. I don't give a shit about these other people. They can go ahead and have their stuff too. That's bipartisan. Everybody agrees, hey, Steve needs this road. So do that. Now after that, and this happens a lot. It gets to the president's desk. That's only like one person after, he reads it and like, okay, Bob needs a road for $10,000. Okay, sounds reasonable. What's this other stuff? Well, he finds something in that bill where he goes, but Janice needs a cookie stand for the baseball park, and
so Girl Scouts can sell at this specific spot.
And I hate Girl Scouts. Veto the whole thing. Sends to Congress. Now Congress can go back and go and override the president. But if it was a bipartisan bill, the Congress can override it. Mm-hmm. Or this, I think it's Senate, and everybody has to agree on it.
Yeah, one of those two.
Yeah. Now, we'll just go with the veto. But it gets back to the House. He goes up. He makes a personal statement. It's like, I have this bill. I'm not signing it. I understand that a lot of people are going to be butthurt about it, but to be diplomatic, I cannot sign it because there's certain things in this bill that I don't agree upon, and I can't. Sorry, Steve, you're not getting that road. Basically, sorry, Steve, we can't give you this road. Well, Steve's butthurt. Then he finds out the reasoning why. He doesn't like Janice, so he didn't want to vote for the cookie stand. So instead of going out and saying, well, I didn't like Janice and her cookie stand. No. It wasn't Janice's idea. The president didn't sign this bill and didn't like the bill because he doesn't want to feed the children.
Apparently not.
And that actually happened. What happened is back in, I think, Bush's first year, they were going to sign over to where they can have Medicaid, free health insurance for children.
Mm-hmm.
They could find the money for that. That's what they agreed upon. Well, Nancy Pelosi put something in there to where it would be for the elderly too, to get free health care. Bush gets the bill, looks it over, finds out it's also for the elderly. We can't afford that. That was literally the statement. He was like, it wasn't because, anybody else. And he was like, okay, we can't afford that. We can afford the children. We can't afford the children and the elderly. Vetoes it, sends it on. It's like, hey, sorry, get rid of this one part, and I'll sign it. Nancy Pelosi comes up. It's like, oh, he didn't sign that bill because he hates children. He wants to see children dead. because he doesn't care about the children's health. So he wants to see those children's dead.
That sounds like politics.
Yeah, it really is. It's really disgusting. And it's also the thing that got like you're in during the evacuation of Afghanistan
Mm-hmm.
as a Marine, and just as an American in general. I mean, you can say Marine, you can say, part of the military, armed forces, or anything like that. As an American, how much did that just piss you off?
A lot. It was all. A lot of it was avoidable.
Okay.
So a lot of. I heard from a guy who was buddies with one of the guys that was out there. He was like, "Yeah, it was avoidable because we had asked if, hey, we see guys with AKs or whatever.
Yeah.
Can we shoot at them? Can we,
Yeah, you're not
get
allowed
rid
to
of
shoot them
them? Yeah,
because
you're not
they
allowed
had
to shoot.
that the gun had to be like actively going at you, and they'd have to
Yeah.
fire.
So,
And that was Obama's thing.
yeah, they're like, yeah, we asked permission, they denied it, people died. Well, that's avoidable. It's just hey, yeah, there's dudes with AKs coming up towards us. Can we shoot at them? Sure. That part would have been fine. And you saw the videos of like people handing babies up over barbed wire, all that. I don't know what could have been done about that one, but
Well, what happened with that? It was people rushing out trying to. They didn't want. As a parent, your first thought is your children.
mm-hmm.
You want your children to have a better life, and you hope your children didn't have the scrutiny that you did as a child.
Yeah.
So they were thinking, I want my child to have a better life. It's either it dies or someone catches it
Mm-hmm.
and it lives a better life. That was that I understand that kind of whole thinking. I mean, it's desperation.
Yeah.
And you have people that it was, and a lot of people will say it's like, well, the Taliban, it was their country to begin with. It's like, no, technically the Taliban only became part of Taliban because of what we did in 80s
with the Russians and all them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can check out just a snippet of it. Have you read the Afghan papers?
I have not.
Dude, if you want to go back and just not, it's one of those things. Is I tell everybody, I love my country, Government, on the other hand, fucking hate.
Not the same thing.
Yeah, it's not the same thing. And you start reading that stuff, and what a lot of people don't understand and believe, and can't we can wrap our minds on it now. The whole 9/11 thing, well, not even 9/11. I think it was like 99. Could have been avoided because he tried to blow up World Trade Center twice. Was same thing that we could have done like during Vietnam. All we had to do was help out a small bit, and Clinton didn't want to help out for some reason, and it ended up Osama bin Laden got pissed off, and that's what happened. It was the same thing with Vietnam. I forget the guy's name, but the North Vietnamese commander loved America, loved baseball, loved all kinds of stuff, but he said, like, hey, can you liberate us from France? And we be part of, we'll drop communism and we'll be part of the United States. That's how much that guy loved the United States.
It's more than a lot of people nowadays.
Yeah. And mind you, this is like end of 1950s.
Yeah.
But anyways, just going out, he loved the United States. You know what the biggest problem with that whole thing was? France. France went out and is like, if you do not support us, then we will go communism.
And you can't have a communist country in the middle of all of everyone else.
Europe, yeah. It was too close to Germany, and Germany is like half communism. So that was the whole reason why Vietnam. If and mind you, in my realization, I would have gone, you know what? Try it. I know we're allies and everything. Try it. Go ahead.
Wouldn't be allies much longer.
But we didn't have that kind of foresight and everything. We didn't know uh how, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we didn't know going forward, but a lot of people was like, oh, it's the military industrial complex. I was like, no, sometimes it's just some dumb idiot that we want to support our allies that we have now, and we don't realize that these allies over here could be a little bit better.
That's that whole politics thing again.
Yeah. It just baffles me sometimes. I was like, yeah, I knew him a while, but I had to bail him out during World War II and World War One. Well, let's see what these new guys are. Let's just do some and the whole reason why French didn't want to do anything is because we were battling these people constantly, and they were like, they were at the stage to where they were just what do you call it? Pissed off if it was going to be that easy.
Yeah.
But it's the French, so it's understandable.
Yeah.
Now, getting back on a track on, because you said your future goals were going to be join a police force or some
kind of law enforcement. Yeah,
law enforcement. See, there's a lot of stuff that I learned from other law enforcement officers, talking them through either friends of my dad's or just in general, other people. I talked to like Eric Tansey from Figure Stop Podcast and DC from Disruptor Podcast, and just cops in general. So it's like the biggest thing. Like if you were to do something, I would do like highway patrolman.
It's not a bad choice.
It really isn't. One, you're kind of in the Texas Rangers, and Texas Rangers are always cool. Frank Haynes was fucking awesome.
It's the ultimate goal, though, is go Texas Rangers.
Oh God!
You can transfer over to DPS and apply if you have 8 years of valid law enforcement.
Oh, you have to wait for 8 years valid law enforcement before you can go to DPS?
Not DPS, to the Rangers.
Oh, okay.
Rangers fall under DPS, but they're like
Yeah,
their own.
they're like the detectives of DPS.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
But
8 years valid law enforcement, and then you can go transfer to DPS and then eventually try out.
But from what people say, it's like the Rangers are like the special forces of Texas for law enforcement.
Yeah, they do a lot.
Yeah.
Everything from border patrol to police shooting stuff.
Yeah, because they're kind of like
the Texas equivalent of Secret Service.
Yeah. Because I seen that because it was that Jake Paul Tyson fight, because Governor Abbott went there and they had a couple of Rangers doing security for Abbott, and you see someone like, I guess someone was throwing a ball at him, fucking, and he's like scanning the whole room, whole freaking stadium, and you're like, yeah, you just run away. But they had to get him out as fast as possible.
That was a disappointing fight, though. I was hoping that Tyson would not show his age.
Yeah, my thing on that Tyson fight was the fact that he had to have a transfusion. It was just a laundry list of stuff, and I was like, I almost went to it. I think tickets in the nosebleed section was I want to say just $400. So it probably cost me about $500 or $600 just to go there by myself.
Go down, stay a night somewhere, whatever.
I don't stay nights. I can't. I know I can get a hotel, but I can easily go on the road. I don't get tired when I mean, going up to South Dakota and back, I've learned my travel regiment.
Mm-hmm.
I can stay up on the road 24 hours as long as I go off for I think 3 to 4 hours and I take a nap. I'm good. The other thing is I can I'll chew gum throughout the whole trip and everything. I'm perfectly fine. The only problem with that is the last time I did that, I guess I'm showing my age after that because my whole jaw was like sore.
Mm-hmm.
So I know how porn stars are now.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh,
Oh yeah, I tried to do comedy for a while. If you hadn't figured that one out,
you don't say.
no, I do. I. It's really sad. It's it's also depending on the person and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm funny in one section, and I actually I went out and hung out with like comedians. I was like, hey, I just want to see how if I'm funny or not. I'll do a couple of open mics and I. They're like, how is it that you're not funny on stage, but you're funny on the podcast?
Who the hell knows?
I really don't. I do some real. I come up with like really great one-liners on the podcast, but and if you like watch your sports show, I mean, I do a couple of funny one-liners, and everybody's like looking at me. I was like, Dave, our parents, Minnie's parents watches this too. I was like, this is
Oops.
it's part of the show, dude.
It's one of those things that just maybe tell them, hey, skip this section.
Yeah, pretty much. But we've went an hour and 30 minutes. So we can go ahead and cut it there.
Alrighty.
But yeah, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. And goodbye.